He put some rocks around it, and he soaked it and soaked it and soaked it and soaked it to the point that it's impossible for it to get lit. And then he even soaked the wood. He did everything, and then next year, he called upon the name of the Lord, and what happened? God consumed. He set the offering. He set it on fire to the point that it dried up all the water. It dried up everything that was there. And then when it was all over, what did they say? They said Elijah killed those secular prophets, cut their heads off. See, because there's going to be a time when God's going to start exposing and cutting the heads off these secular preachers. Amen. Now, it might not be in the natural realm, but cutting the head off meaning taking their authority away. Amen. Taking that form of that thing that gives them that way of thinking. Meaning that they're going to be taken over to reprobated mind to the point you see them in a corner rocking and you're like, what happened? They done lost their mind. Yeah. You see in 1st and 2nd Kings, it speaks about the power of the prophet. How God, no matter what you're going through, will always protect you. Yeah. Thank you, Jesus. It got to the point where Elijah kept saying, am I the only one? He kept going, am I the only one? Am I the only one? I'm the only one that didn't bow down to Baal. I'm the only one. I'm the only one. I'm the only one. Then Obadiah. Then what happened? Then God caused an earthquake. He caused a couple of things to take place. The earthquake, the ground trembling, all this stuff took place. And next you know, the mountain cracked open and all the prophets that were being hid was exposed. Let Elijah know that you're never alone, because I always have somebody to take your place if you decide you don't want the job anymore. So when you tell God, I ain't going to do it, or I don't see it's possible, then he has somebody else that's hungry and ready for to do the job. Yes. Amen. Yes. Yeah. We sing these songs and not even thinking about the meaning. I'm on the battlefield for the Lord. I promise him that I will serve him till I die. I'm on the battlefield for my Lord. What's the other song? I'm in the army of the Lord. If I die, let me die in the army of the Lord. If I got my war clothes on in the battle of the Lord. I got my breastplate on in the army of the Lord. I'm going to die in the army of the Lord. It's impossible to be in God's presence or even be connected to God and die. So that whole thing is wrong. You say, well, Jesus died. Jesus didn't die. His flesh died. The flesh died. You see, people saw the natural die as the spiritual took place. And then they never tell us what happened after the flesh died. After the flesh died, dead bodies came from the grave. Things started happening that freaked people out. But if I'm in the army, or if I'm a soldier, what is that? I'm a soldier in the army. If you're a soldier, then where did you take boot camp? Where did you have your basic training? If you're a soldier, then when will you be deployed and where's your assignment and what's your mission? If you're a soldier. If you're a soldier, why don't you know how to work your armor? Why don't you know how to work your weapon? Why do every time you come against an attack, you bow down and surrender? And not just surrender, you actually sacrifice your whole platoon to the devil. But you're a soldier in the army of the Lord. My question is, what Lord? What God? What God would you be serving with a point that you begin to sacrifice your family, sacrifice your whole platoon because of you're afraid? You don't know how to use your weapons. You don't know how to walk in the presence. You don't know how to even dress for battle. You don't even know where to go and where not to go, what to say and what not to say, how to stay hidden, how to be exposed. You don't know how to do all these different things, but you're a soldier in God's army. Many people are so passive to the point that the little bitty of conflict that comes their way, they're ready to give up. They cry, they get to the point where they can't stand it anymore, so they commit spiritual suicide and retreat and become prisoners of war. Or better yet, they just decide to retreat and go on the other side, or they go AWOL. And then you go back and you say, oh, are you still preaching? No, I gave it up. Why? Oh, they can come up with 101 excuses why they gave up. Or why they jumped ship and got into this belief and that belief. But we say we are a soldier in God's army. But we don't know who our general is. We don't know who our colonel is. We don't know who our commanders are. We don't know who we're supposed to get our orders from. We just know if I get on my knees, I pray, then God will move. And it's deeper than that. That's why I say he gave some apostles, some prophets, some evangelists, some prophets. And meaning that he gave a rank. He gave an order of military rank. But we have all these people who have this military rank and cowards. Military ranks and don't know how to fight. So they raise a mass of cowards who retreat and constantly sacrifice their members and other people to the enemy. They lead them like sheep to the shear. They lead them to the place so that they can allow them to die. But we say we're in the army of the Lord. We get all theatrical with the song. We get all emotional, and then they even get to the point where they get their rock on, and the rock, and they begin to get all these different things. And they just go and go and go. But then, how is it possible if I'm in the army of the Lord that I want to die? Let me die. Only way you're going to die, if you're even on the battlefield, is if you're not paying attention, or if you didn't take your training seriously. Now, I'm not talking about the ones that sacrifice their lives so that their platoon can live. I'm not talking about the ones that died because of this and that, but I'm talking about the ones that actually just, you get there and they say, how did they die? Oh, I don't know. They were walking down and they just tripped. My question to you today, are you ready for your next level? Are you prepared for this war? And are you ready to get your orders? Because God is calling you into position this day. And the question now, are you ready to do what it takes to get what God has for you? Are you ready to get up at whatever time it takes so God can move in your life? Are you ready to get up and begin to sacrifice fasting for how long it takes so God can move people, places, and things out of your house, or cause God to cause people to be moved, cause people to take care, cause people to do things, cause promotion, cause your new business to go? Are you willing to do whatever it takes to get God to move in your life? But yet we quote these things. I don't care what you do, Lord. Just bless me. The question is, are you willing to go through what it takes for that conversation you just made? If you don't bless me no more, you bless me enough. Really?
Yeah.
As long as I'm living, I need God.
That's right.
I need him to move in my situation. I need him to move in my mood swings. I need him to move when I'm not a good husband. I need him to move when I'm not a good father. I need him to move when fear comes in. I need him to move when it looks like bills are not going to be paid. I need him to move when it seems as if all hell is breaking loose in my life. I need him to move. So I can't say, God, if you never bless me again, then I'm good. Because I need him to bless me as long as I'm above ground, as the religious people say. I need him to bless me as long as I have breath in my lungs, as the religious people say. I need God as long as I'm connected to God. In the natural or the spiritual, I need God to continually bless me. See, because in his blessings is my provision. In his blessings is my breakthrough. In his blessings. See, because as long as God is doing things in my life, as long as God constantly speaking in my life, I know he's there. And it's hard to get off a path when God is there. This is your year. The question is, are you ready to stop listening to these secular preachers and get in God's presence? Are you ready to stop listening to these secular songs and start doing evaluation on these words? Because these words in these secular music, secular gospel,